gentlemen, welcome back to another absolutely spellbinding episode of the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast. I don't know if you can tell, but I just came up with that off the dome. I don't even know what spellbinding means. I'm assuming it means chaotic and awesome and riveting. And that's going to be how this episode is, because my guest before she came on said, listen, I want this to be raw and unfiltered. I want this to be as raw as a dog. So, to grant her wishes, that's how this is going to be. We're going to raw dog it on this episode of the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast, which you can find on the Ringer YouTube reality TV page. So go and hit subscribe. Now, we are going to basically experience the calm after the storm, because my guest today was once an absolute force of nature, known for stirring things up like a relentless hurricane, roaring across the screen and leaving nothing but destruction in her path. But life has changed. She's traded the chaos of wins for something quieter. But after the betrayal this season, this may have just provided the elements necessary to turn this now gentle rain back into a raging storm, blowing anything and everything in her path. So, here to tell her tale and break down her season on the Challenge 40 Battle of the Eras, an absolute force of nature, Hurricane Nia. Welcome to the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to peel back your banana peels.
Ooh.
And expose you.
All right. I mean, wouldn't be the first
put
time.
The tip of you in my mouth a little bit.
Okay. Just for a second, though. No, you got to, but before you do that, you have to make sure you open it from the right end, because most people don't know this. You're not supposed to open a banana from the stem. You're actually supposed to hold the stem as a handle, and then you pinch the other end, and then you could get rid of the little, that little dot, the little devil's asshole on the end, and then you're just ready to fly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I know a lot about bananas, believe it or not. Did you know that humans share 70% of their DNA with bananas?
No, I wouldn't know that.
And a lot of humans in South Florida share more than 70% of their DNA with me.
That part I do believe.
Speaking of bananas, do you know that's actually where I got, a lot of people don't know this, I got the nickname Bananas. Well, it's not where I actually got it from, but one of the first run-ins I had with bananas involved me putting bananas in my mom's tailpipe. Not kidding.
That's never going to sound appropriate. I don't care if it's a true story or not.
Oh, it's a true story.
Tailpipe, I hate that word in general, but putting it in your mom's.
Yeah, but I mean in the literal sense, in her car. Get your head out of the gutter. Jesus, this is a kid show.
Wait, I got to tell you the viewers, you know where I thought your name came from?
No, tell me.
Ironically, your side profile is like a banana.
My head?
Like your face?
Is it? It kind of is. Hold on, let me see. You're right. I've never gotten that. I've gotten a loaf of bread before. People are like, dude, your head looks like a loaf of bread from the side. Because it's kind of square.
No, but it's like a little crescent from the side.
It looks like Jay Leno, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, your chin isn't I really have more of the Jay Leno chin, but your face has it's kind of concave in the middle. You're still a cutie pie though. You got a little button.
Well, but you want to know something? I've got a concave face and I have a distended abdomen. That's why no matter how ripped my abs get, I still look like a baby with a pot belly. Like a tortoise shell.
Oh, you do though.
I know. If you saw pictures of me when I was a kid in a diaper, I literally have the same posture. I have a little, my back arches in and then my tummy sticks out. Speaking of tummy sticks, how's Kyland? Just got right into it.
Hey, that was it. Your next act, your second, third act in life is going to be stand up for sure.
No, because I can't do it on
You're
command.
a funny guy.
I know, but people have told me that, but I can't be funny on command. I can't. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I'd be able to get on a stage and be funny.
No, you're fucking hilarious. You're so quick-witted, and like whether you love you or hate you, like I tell people this all the time. And like, there's two things about Johnny. Johnny is absolutely hilarious, like on command, but also your laugh. Like even when I hated your guts, I could not help but be like, your laugh is so contagious. And anybody who says otherwise is a flat out hater. Like your laugh is, especially when you're looking at your face, the pure joy that you have when you're laughing at somebody or like a situation.
Myself?
Is like my favorite thing.
Nah, I think well, you know why? It's because I laugh a lot, because sometimes I'm the only one that finds my jokes funny. And that's the thing is, I know some of my funniest jokes have been ones that nobody else finds funny, and I just think that they're hilarious.
No, even you laughing at people, like you just have a really sincere, like, it's just like a belly laugh, but it's all in your face. Like, remember how I told you how your face is all, that's why your face is so smushed and why it gives the banana look. It's because of that right there. That you've done that so much over time that it kind of just,
that's why,
contains and like.
That's why your face is so smushed and looking like a banana. Oh man, Christian, can we turn my camera off? Because now every time I look at my face, all I see is a smushed banana. Just kidding. Don't turn it off because I love staring at myself.
We know. We definitely know that.
Actually, can you zoom in on me? Actually, can you just get rid of Nia's picture? I don't need to look. I just want to look at fucking zoomed in.
Wait, but I know you have a lineup of questions you want to ask me, but I am itching to ask you this first. So let me just get this one off.
Let's do it.
Why were you being such a little baby bitch about this fucking toast? As if for one time in the 20 million times they give it to you, why couldn't you let that just be a Rachel thing and not make it a bananas thing, like off the show and like online? Like, why couldn't you let the women have it in that moment, or her, or just anybody else? Like, why did you feel the need to fucking be butthurt over it? Because I thought that was hilarious, but also very on brand for you.
Okay, so to get started, or to take the top of that point, when you say 20 million times, do you know how many seasons in a row they have blatantly omitted the toasts that I've done? And I'm not even kidding, because I actually saw a tweet that you said, you're like, oh yeah, as if producers are coming and rustling him out of bed to get him to do a toast. They have. All right, total madness. We were in a fucking bunker, and I was in my bed ready to go to sleep night one because we were depressed that we were living inside of a mountain. And the producer comes in and goes, "Bananas, we need your toast." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm too tired." He goes, "Man, we need it. It's important. Like, it's in the notes. We need your toast." Do a toast, doesn't make it. All right. Then when we did Ride or Dies, did a toast. They showed Nelson's. Challenge USA, do a toast. They show Josh's. So I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking done with toasts.
But then, would you not agree that you're known, you are
I was, but I think
associated with the toast for better or worse over everybody else? Like that's a you thing.
Do you want to know something? The reason I have this podcast is because Bill Simmons, the founder of The Ringer, he is the one that gave the challenge the moniker, the fifth major American sport, because he's such a huge fan. But he also is the one that he told me this. He was the first one that was like, I attribute the majority of your success to your toast at the beginning of the season. So that then became. Is
that even real though? Like you earned everything you've done on the show. Like, it has nothing to do with the toast. Like, let's be so serious.
Okay, it's kind of it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing. But yes, it's something that I became synonymous with. Kind of like, let's see, Wes being ugly. Okay, kind of like.
You can't say nothing about that man. You know I'm obsessed with him.
I know you're obsessed with him for the same reason that like people are obsessed with, like, when you go to a freak show and you want to see someone with like 3 heads, you're like, does this actually exist? I've got to see this, dude.
Like, your tongue is
what?
So far up that man's tailpipe.
He's going to love it. You know why? Because Wes actually listens to every episode of this, and he loves when I make fun of him. So here you go, Wes. Okay, but no, it had nothing to do with Rachel's toast, because it's not like, I didn't mind that they played hers at all. I just felt like this is the 40th season, all right? I spent days in the hotel being like, all right, you know what? I know they haven't shown my toast in a while, but I'm going to make this one so good and so memorable they have to. I included everyone. I mean, people who passed away, people who couldn't be here. Like, I just thought they, in some capacity, have to show it, and they just chose to omit it. I think what they should have done was shown both of ours. They could have done a cutback, her, me, like. And the only reason, in all honesty, that Rachel even did that is because Tina egged her on to do it. Tina's like, all right, after I did mine, she's like, you got to get up there and you got to like fucking steal the spot. And that's what she did. And I had no problem with it. I thought Rachel's toast was great. I'm just saying it was a shame that mine once again hit the editing room floor. So, and I said it before, I'm saying it again. I'm never doing a toast again. Maybe at the reunion.
Because the thing is, you give us so much anxiety if it doesn't make the show that we don't want to be fixated on that. Like, so free us from having to worry about whether or not you're doing a toast or not. Just don't even do one.
Well, Nia, do you have a glass? Do you have something to drink in front of you? Because I want to propose a toast.
Let's do it.
All right. To live in, to love in, and to go in fucking bananas.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you for having me too, by the way.
Dude, thanks for coming on. All right. So, I wanted to do a bunch of background coming in. We're not going to get bogged down in that because so much happened on this season. The things I do kind of want to point out is, I mean, before a lot of people remember you from absolutely destroying. It was kind of me and Nani on X's 2. But before that, I mean, dude, just in Portland. Hurricane Nia, the blow dryer, you and Avery scrapping, that whole thing. I mean, was that, and again, a lot of us, I feel like over the years, cast members, CT comes to mind, have really kind of like grown out of this, unhinged, crazy behavior pattern that we used to be involved in. I'm still trying to figure out how to adult, but was that something that was just, I mean, what was it about you and your personality type, your temperament, is that just something that would come out? Was that like this uncontrollable, like Hulk syndrome, or and how'd you, kind of reel that in?
That's a great question because no one's ever pitched it to me like that. So here's the truth of the matter. Bananas, I had never been put in that situation before in real life. So I can't tell you how I would have acted in real life in that situation. I've never been provoked to physical violence. That was my first and only fight in my entire life. Anybody that knows me would this, I'm not saying this because it sounds good.
Yeah.
I have not been in a position where I even had to come close to that since then. So I think my reaction was so volatile and explosive because I'd never been put in that situation before. I never had to push the button the way I had to push the button, that I pushed the button in that way. And I think that's why it was just so excessive and overt, and it looked like I was doing so much, but I also I hadn't been in that place ever in my life, and I haven't since. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that, number one, I treat people with respect. I don't pick fights, or I've never needed to defend myself in a physical way ever. I lived a really good life, a very soft life. I mean, but I also am just not a punk. And so there was a moment where, the thing happened between me and Johnny where I felt like my only option is to smack the shit out of him.
With the blow dryer, nonetheless.
That would work there.
Yeah.
And so, it was like that, unfortunately, was in front of the world. It wasn't like it was in a classroom or behind closed doors somewhere. It's like, you can tell if you really look at it, knowing that I'm saying this now, that this girl, I mean, I didn't even know how to throw a punch. I fractured my hand because I was hitting him with like this part of my face on the back of his skull. I just had never been in that position before. I just knew, I felt like it had arrived to a point where I needed to do something that let them know, don't fuck with me. And unfortunately, that obviously brought Avery into it because she had to defend her man, and it was rightfully so. And listen, Avery was giving me the business too. Like, yeah, she's small, but she knew how to throw a punch. If anybody in that room knew how to throw a punch, it was her.
Well, and that's what kind of surprised me. Were you surprised at all this season? Because I think when she went into that elimination against Rachel, I was expecting to see that Avery come out. And
no, I knew that. First of all, Avery is a model, and so she gets paid for, like, her face matters to her. And like, I get that, rightfully so. So like anything where it was like it's not like a hall brawl where it's like one hit and you're done, or a pole wrestle where you might be able to avoid each other's faces. This was obvious that y'all were going to be throwing blows.
Mm-hmm.
So like where she's at in her 30s versus where we were at in our 20s when like that isolated incident happened was just different. So I already knew she had reservations about going into it because she just didn't want to. Who wants to be on the receiving end of Rachel throwing fucking help like haymakers? Like nobody.
Nope, I'm good.
So I don't think that she was wrong and being timid about it. Also, I mean, I don't know if y'all gonna edit this part out, but
nope.
Rachel could see.
She could see?
Rachel could see. Rachel could see. So Rachel could at least see Avery's feet, so she knew in some capacity where she was. It wasn't like she was blindly swinging.
Wait, how the hell? How do you know this?
Because I knew it from the minute Rachel started, she was looking down, so she was holding her head up like this, but she was focused here, which means this part was not covering the bottom of her eyes, so she wasn't completely blind. And you could tell, and everybody said it on stage. Bananas, you know this.
I did it.
Everybody said
this is the first I've heard it. This is the. Nah, nobody talked to me. I was in fucking no man's land, dude. Nobody liked me. I was like the Wes Bergman. I was the redheaded kid. No one wanted to play with.
Come on, you had the whole Angels and like all the other groupies who were like just
all the other groupies. No, we were pushed into a situation because nobody else wanted to play with. Everyone wanted to kick me out of the sandbox again.
Okay, Well, let me just get back to this. Yeah. I don't know if y'all are going to show this, but I just want the record to show.
Yep.
Like a win is a win. She still won. Avery wanted no parts of that, but Rachel could see. Damn. And also, like to you, you've said this: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. What was she gonna do? Stop the game and say, "Wait, guys, I can see." No. I wouldn't do that either.
Who is she, Horacio?
Left and right.
She's like, "Oh, his contraption's not working. Let me just stand here until they fix it instead of fucking using it to my advantage." Shit.
No, you know, I love that man, but
I do too.
He's such a athlete only. Like he is not going to cheat by any means. Like he'll stop the game. Like he's that type of guy. Jordan's the same way. He would do the same shit.
Bullshit, Jordan. Yeah, right. Now Jordan has integrity. Oh, now you're going to say Jordan has integrity after he threw you under the bus this episode, which we're going to get into because I want to rake him over the coals a few more times.
Integrity in the game is one thing. Blatantly lying to someone who I can honestly admit as well, Bananas, I was definitely the anchor on the team.
No, you weren't. Don't say that. I want you to be mad about that conversation. Come on. What are you talking about? Really? We're happy?
Would I have survived the mini final? Let's
probably not. Probably not. It was fucked up. We're going to see it. I mean, we haven't seen it yet. That's next episode, but probably not.
Okay.
All right. So, what did you think coming into in your era? What did you think of your era coming in? You looked around. Did you, or just being the house in general, the vibe? I know obviously you and Nehemiah were super tight. You and Jordan have a long history. But as far as your place in the game was concerned, I mean, obviously you and Kyland, booed up. So did you feel like you were in a pretty solid position in the game, and were you kind of surprised at kind of, I guess, how quickly it changed this episode?
Dude, once you told me it was eras and I was squeezed in the middle of 5 other people on either side of me, I knew I was sitting pretty for a while. I came there for the guaranteed money and for the vibes. And knowing that I probably, when I looked at the talent and the caliber of athletes that were around me, male, female side, I knew where I ranked. And it's like, I respect this game enough to not be delusional in that aspect. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll probably, if I can make it to 2 weeks, that will be a miracle. I mean, dude, I went in on the first elim on the fucking invitational.
And you handled shit.
I barely beat Amanda.
No, you did not. Then you got mad at me after.
Bro, I remember tripped over my own feet and then put her ball in. Like, dude, I had 2. It was embarrassing. Okay. So my point is, I should have destroyed her where she should have never even been able to make a play, and I didn't do that.
Okay, but here's the thing. But here's the thing. It's not like she beat you in that, but you're talking about you kind of beat yourself in that instance, and a lot of that is because when you're in the moment, if you've never done something like that, balls in, there's a lot of moving parts, and it is kind of confusing, trust me. Nani did the same thing on Ride or Dies.
Okay.
We almost lost to Jordan and Anissa because Nani missed 2 baskets. She fucking after you get into the middle ring and you could take all day to put it in, she just boofed it twice. So go easy on yourself.
Okay, no, you're right. But like a win is a win. I will give myself that. Thank you. But I will say, for someone like me who was initially there for the vibes, I was like, this is great. And you knew that the way the game was structured, because I knew I was surrounded by a bunch of dogs that were, if it's a group effort on all the challenges, and you're like, even the tree beam thing, right?
Yep.
Who is to prove how much effort I'm really putting into lifting this shit, right?
That's why sometimes challenges like that are good, because you can just, if you're the weaker link, you could just fall and pretend like you're doing something and no one can say that you're not.
Bro, the way I was chilling on that math on the trivia one that Rachel won, dude, I'm like, I'm not even going to try. Like, y'all are going to have to figure this out or we're toast. Like, It's not on me.
Yeah.
So there was no pressure. So I love the structure of being insulated by a team, but also...
She goes, I love being able to just, like Homer Simpson my way into the bushes. Yeah, be a lady of leisure. Exactly.
Dude, I was a lady of leisure. I was on Love Island.
Fuck yeah.
Like, all I was doing was worried about, like, I almost said a wild bar.
Say it. We'll edit it out. You were almost what?
I mean, the truth of the matter is I was on Love Island. Like, maybe I was on that island by myself.
You were, I'm not going to lie, you were homie hopping.
Let's get into it. Because no one has asked me this question, so I would love for you to okay.
All right. So, I mean, you've been known in the past, Nia. I mean, and that's what I love about you. Get a little freaky deaky. You know what I mean? For those of you who don't know, Nia is a lady in the sheets, but a freak in the streets, especially when we're in the challenge house. So, and again, her coming in. Wait, you didn't have any on globals? Did you have a love interest? Did you? I don't think.
No, but I was eyeing Theo like a fucking hyena on meat, but like Kaz was blocking the whole thing from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
So I never got a chance to like explore that at all. And then once we got on this season, I was like, no, he's feeling Olivia. Like, I can read a room.
Yeah.
And like I celebrated him and Olivia, and I was like, that's great. Because I also had other men waiting for me to turn around and notice them. So
yep.
I had options.
And Josh enters the chat. You guys are getting hot and heavy. All right. I mean, it's again, I feel like there was so much going on. It was kind of.
I wouldn't call it that.
You wouldn't?
Me and Josh.
It wasn't hot and heavy?
No, it was just a couple like innocent makeouts. But we also,
it was cold and light.
Obsessed with him as a person.
Yep.
We never were intimate. We never slept together. I don't even think it was ever going to go there. We just were like flirty and fun. And like, we are both sensitive and like we connected in that way. And I found him immediately funny. He also just was excited to meet me. From the minute he saw me, I could tell he had this sparkle in his eye. And he's like, Nia, like in the hotel. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't expect people to know me because I haven't been on the show in so long. But he was so excited about me. And like, I mean, that feels good, you know? So like the fact that he was not being too cool for school, he was like making it clear that he was a fan and that he really liked me and like wanted to get to know me. We obviously had really fun, flirty banter. But this is what happened.
Okay, what happened?
So I was content because I wasn't coming there for a showmance. But the dilemma is I came with a heavy duty vibrator packed in my suitcase.
She goes, I wasn't coming for a showmance, but the problem is I have an oral fixation.
That too.
Oh, I know.
Okay, wait.
Oh,
wait. Let's circle back. So let me tell you why this happened.
Yep.
I was not going to sexually entertain any of these boys. I don't even call them men. I would not sexually entertain any of these boys. It's just, they don't really fit the bill for what I normally go for. However, I call myself the honorary, like, lusty auntie. That's the era that I'm in my life. Yep. And so I'm human. So I brought a vibrator to prevent me from doing anything on the show. But what they did when they confiscated all of our stuff,
they took
my vibrator charger. So that shit died on like night one. Oh. So I was starting to like itch a little bit.
You could have used mine. I brought mine too.
Oh, wait. Side note, Derek K doesn't know that, or is his last name K?
Chavez or Kaczynski?
Kaczynski. Derek K doesn't know this, but on on All Stars 3, my vibrator died there also. And he had that massager.
You used his beard trimmer.
Yes.
Stop.
I cleaned it off after I finished, and I gave it back to him.
Here's what's funny about guys. All right. Anytime you ask a guy, you know, if you don't have your beard trimmer, if you could borrow theirs, you know, without even asking, that you are now using a beard trimmer that this guy has shaved his balls with. So
no, not the beard trimmer. It was his massage gun. Because remember, he's always got an injury.
The massage
gun. Massage gun, but it was heavy duty.
Nia,
you know the thing that
that thing's like a jackhammer.
I know, but it got the job done in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, dude. You might as well have just like gone outside and let, Jordan with the boxing gloves just, like a speed bag. I mean, that's basically the equivalent of what that massage gun. That thing's like it really is. That thing's like a jackhammer.
Dude. I couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. But anyways,
that thing hurt my quads. Damn.
Okay, so back to the thing. The reason why I was so fun and flirty this season is because the vibrator died.
Okay.
Production they were taking too long to give me the charger. And then, I was in heat.
Yep.
And so Josh kind of gave me cold feet. He kind of pulled back. And I read the room, and as a woman who had options, I was like, "Well,
wait." So Josh
did my best to get him out.
Josh put it out there that it's fine. So Josh put it out there that he was into you, and then he pulled back.
Yes,
the plot.
He did. Okay. I would never the way that they showed that episode where I went from Josh to Kyland.
Yep.
That was not the way it went. It was at least a day or two in between where I kind of just read the room. And there was a moment where I had went to kiss Josh, and Josh said something that I was kind of and Bananas, I'm used to being hunted by men. So I know when a man is into me and I know when he's not. Mm-hmm. And I don't expect all men to be into me. So I kind of just was I don't need to press him here.
Yep.
If he wanted that, this would happen. And because it's not, there's this other curly haired cutie pie sitting behind me, just staring, waiting like a little puppy. So I can explore that.
Yeah. You got, like you said, you've got your options. So, okay. Because the way, so I'm glad we're clearing this up, because the way they made it look is Josh had feelings for you, who's into you. He liked you. You guys had a thing going on. And then out of nowhere, you decide you're going to, flee the coop and jump into Josh. And then it started that whole fight between him and Tori, because then it was oh, they were clowning on him because, you homie hopped. Okay. So that's not the way it went.
Well, I did find that weird that he was so emotional about that moment, because I'm like, Josh, as a courtesy, I left you alone because again, I know when a man is into me and I know when he's not. And so I wasn't going to beg him to fucking choose me or want me. It was it was obvious that he wasn't at least on me. And this is the proof. Oh, you got me talking.
Good. We love it. How much okay.
Okay. So
let it fly.
There was one night where we had a pool party.
Let it rip.
No, fuck it. I mean, who cares? I'm off the show now.
Yeah.
So there was one night where we had a pool party and we were all frisky. This is the night where everybody was being naked, and I think I had my top off or something, whatever. So at some point I go to the shower, and at the end of the night I'm just gonna rinse off, and I invited Josh to the shower. I was yo, come in. So he comes in with me. I get naked. Obviously this is something he's never seen before. He freaked out and left. And so that's where he left me. He said, I gotta go take a shit. I'll be back.
What?
And I was huh?
Wait, that was his out?
But he did go take a shit. He did. He went and he took a shit because I was.
You were this.
I think he was nervous.
Image.
I think he was nervous with me.
So you scared the shit out. You scared the shit out of him.
Frustrated.
No, you scared the shit out of
him. Josh confused me and frustrated me because in one breath you saw him crying, saying, "If she's hooking up," and he said he was upset about me hooking up. But I'm well, I would have never fell into the arms of Kyland if you would have opened your arms and allowed me to fall into yours.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do that. You made it very weird and gray area for me. So I just don't like that that is one thing. I'm obsessed with Josh. Everybody knows this, but I don't like that he doesn't take ownership for this. It's just admit that you weren't really feeling me in that way, as opposed to making it look like I
dissed him,
intentionally hurt you or played you, because that is not. I don't need to do that, and I would never have done that.
I cannot agree more. All right. Another thing before we get into tonight, to the episode here, that I wanted to clarify here. And, there's kind of been, I think, not necessarily a disagreement on what happened, but just, it was, I guess, the delivery method in how it took place. And I'm talking about the Tina situation where you and Jordan won, sent her into elimination. It's obviously created quite a stir. Sasha, do we have the audio from my podcast of her? You do? All right. Take it to this. I just had Tina on the podcast, and this was her breakdown of, the series of events. You said that it was the way that she delivered the news. So what she was trying to say is, hey, we never led you on.
She did lead me on in the sense that she never told me my name right away coming out of that elimination. But then come to find out, she said, I would have never chose Nehemiah over you. So that lets me know, in retrospect, she knew that I was going in. So then why would you have me talk with you and try to work with you about your vote, or even talk like possibly going either way?
You're
like,
almost providing me with false hope.
That's what it was. And I thought that it was, and this is where it comes back to transactional relationships.
That's the theme of this episode.
Yes. If you are my real friend and you care about me, you wouldn't, it's almost like a sucker punch, a real friend in the game. Yeah. You would talk each other out, figure out how both of you are okay with this decision. That's how you do it.
Is sucker punch, is that a fair comparison to what happened?
No, I mean, at this point, she's kind of like the old lady, you know, like the old senile lady that's like talking about something that like is likely not even true, or her version of events is just so far out there. And it's like, you kind of just are like, God bless her, like let her, it's okay. Like she's harmless. It's like a harmless old lady who like has this version of events in her head from like back in my day, or she has amnesia. Like I just let Tina have this because the fact of the matter is I'm never going to choose anybody in this game or protect anyone in this game over Nehemiah. And I made that blatantly clear to everybody, but apparently she just could not accept it, nor did I give her false hope. I do want to say this. So you know how there is a structure to the show because we're shooting a TV show, right? So someone wins, and then they have us go into the house, change. They show those politicking conversations, and then we go to the bar, and then you go to deliberation, and then after deliberation, you show who you picked, and those people go into elimination, and one person comes out. That's the TV show we're filming. So it was blatantly obvious that she was toast to everybody but her. So for her to say that I gave her false hope, this is a lie for two reasons. Number one, the entire night at the bar, Tina never came up to me one time. She sent Rachel in to talk to me. So that should already be very telling in terms of if we're friends and you can't pull me aside and talk to me, why you send your homegirl in to try and politic for you as opposed to you pulling me aside and us having this conversation? You never see me talk to Tina at the bar because it never happened. She sent Rachel in for her, number one. Number two, Rachel gave her false hope. If you look at the episode, I made it abundantly clear to Rachel. I said, I am absolutely rooting for Air One. I absolutely will always root for an underdog because that is what I identify with as me, like myself. But also, you guys are bleeding out, and my brother is the only option.
Yeah.
What scenario I want you to tell me, Rachel, what scenario of hope or false or of any hope that I can create for you in this moment. And so the reason why I didn't say, hey, you're going in is because bananas, please understand this. This is the only time I've ever won anything in 10 years. And we're filming a fucking TV show. And I am trying to respect the structure of how they tell the story. And they want us to win, winners deliberate, winners discuss, winners announce it at a specific time, winners do. Dude, I'm playing the fucking game. I'm doing what production has asked me to do. And I never gave an ounce of false hope. She never came up to me one time in the house, on the bus, anywhere, and asked me, sis, what's the tea? Just tell me now. She never even did that. So the fact that she made it look like that was my MO. And I don't like the way that they edited it and where they said I betrayed her. My actual line was, Tina believes I betrayed her. And then they only aired me saying, and it's obvious because you can tell it's cut, I betrayed her. It's just so random, like where it starts. It's definitely not the beginning of my sentence.
And they want to leave. Here's the other thing. You also, again, going to your point, you want to leave a little mystery in there too, for the sake of the show. Because when you, like, this is what I was kind of not annoyed about, but in this episode when, it was obvious that Kyland was going to pick Michelle, but the fact that he basically said it in the chamber, told her to her face, and we left the chamber knowing exactly who it was going to be. I'm like, dude, you should have kind of kept, even if you knew who it was, kept it in your pocket just to like keep the suspense alive a little bit. And it almost seems like that's what you were trying to do.
That's us to do.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm doing what I am asked to do as a willing participant and a team player of a production of a show. Like, we know the way that the show and each episode is orchestrated. And this is the first time I've ever won. So I told Tina, I said, sis, forgive me, but I haven't won since one time me and Leroy won 12 years ago. If you think you were a priority and how I was going to cushion the blow for you, you're fucking delusional and also you're selfish as shit.
Damn.
Don't take this moment from me.
Do not. All right. Well said. All right.
Yeah, that's that. But I do want to say this.
Yeah.
I love Tina. Tina and I are, that is my big sister. She has just exhausted me on this topic because I don't know how it would ever change. Like, I reside in the truth. I sleep really well at night, bananas, on this topic. And I feel like that is something that she and Rachel need to work out. That is a delusion that they created. But I love and respect both of those women tremendously. It just sucks that they put me in a position where I have to oppose them in such a strong way because I'm not going to fucking let you lie on me and make it look like I'm a dirty player or that I like, dude.
Yeah, who are you,
next,
mate?
Next
Fucking who are you, mate? All right, coming into this episode, I just want to say it was never supposed to be you. Okay, and I felt I felt it kind of fucked me up in that moment too because I already had this whole prepared statement. Tori, Michelle, Olivia, and the fact that and this is the other thing. Because the episode starts out where Kyland comes up to me and he goes, "You're either a liar or you're an idiot." And I don't think you're an idiot. And he's like, "You never thought that there was a chance it was going to be Tori?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." Tori thought it was going to be Tori. Everyone in the house, the second that I won that elimination against Ryan, was like, "All right, cool. I'm going to get my comeuppance on Tori now," because Rachel had just won and Rachel had just got thrown right back in. So we were all under the impression, the entire house was under the impression that Tori was on the table until she wasn't.
Yes. Everybody was. True.
And now everyone wants to look back and be like, "Oh, how could you be so dumb?" Like fans were saying that. And, Cara says some shit like that where it's like, "Oh my God, how could you be so dumb?" It's like, you guys thought the exact same thing.
No, that's why if they showed all of our jaws hit the floor when TJ revealed that you couldn't say Tori. And that's why Tori had such a fucking like eat my shit reaction because she thought she was toast. She just went into it knowing that if you won, she was a target.
Yeah.
So the fact that was for whatever reason there was a loophole that she was able to like escape out of. That's why her reaction was so intense. Like, fuck you, motherfucker, because she was given an out when she was prepared mentally for you to come back and say her name. And then also I did believe that when you approached me or I approached you or we talked that morning and you said, "Yo, sis, you're good. You don't even have to like, you're not in my radar." I'm like, all right, cool.
You weren't.
So when you said my name, I was stunned because this is why I was stunned, dude. You obviously threw in Cara Marie in the beginning and you and Laurel kind of had this thing where y'all weren't really fucking with her. So I'm like, her name is right there. So if you like, was it more about, I don't really owe Nia anything to keep my word to her because it was kind of just like very brittle, like our agreement was very brittle anyway. And you knew I wasn't going to trip off of it. But also when it became apparent to me that Cara was still on the table, I thought him and Cara, I mean, he's obviously not fucking with Cara, right? Like, at least to my knowledge from the beginning, you guys said her name. So I was like, why couldn't he just leave me out of it completely? Like, why did I have to be thrown in it?
So this has kind of been a hot topic of debate. They were like, "Oh, well, did you make a deal with Cara? If she came on your podcast, you wouldn't say her name ever." It wasn't ever, but I told her I wouldn't say her name, and I just felt obligated to not say her name.
Hold on, I forgot. Y'all filmed that before this moment, right?
Yes. This was the beginning of the season. So I didn't want to go back on my word. I felt like I owed her one, dude. I was like, all right. And you know what? This will put all the naysayers to rest too, being like, "Oh, you're obsessed, you're an asshole." It's like, no, I actually followed through with something that I said I was going to do. So
that's fair.
I gave her a free pass.
I don't think you care to explain that to the group, which is not, you don't have to do that. But I think that is why like a lot of us weren't privy to whatever you and Cara agreed on in that podcast. She never came back and told the house. So you looking out for her was a shock to everybody because we were only updated with the fact that you threw her in once. And that was it. That was the last thing we knew of you and her.
Surprise.
Yeah. Banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah. Gave him the old banana in the tailpipe. Gave Nia the old banana in the tailpipe. Do you think Michelle, okay, you are familiar with the backstory of obviously what went down with the Michelle, that we don't need to go over it again. She basically comes in. Here's what I'm going to maintain. This is what I'm going to maintain. It's like she came in when I was in the closet celebrating my victory by myself. And she's basically, like you drew the first shot. But in my heart of hearts, in my opinion, I feel like she did. Because I feel like the conversation that we had should have been kept in private. It was a conversation that needed to go anywhere else. And then by her then broadcasting our conversation to Devin, which then brought him in, which then brought Tori in. That's what started this whole thing. So I'm like, Michelle, the only reason you were down there is because you ignited this fire that then lit a fire under Devin, which lit a fire under Tori, which then targeted me. So had you kept your mouth shut, you wouldn't be in this position. That was kind of like the stance I took.
So considering that, I feel like if you're really my friend, and even if we have a disagreement, and even if I'm dead ass wrong about it, then we hash that out on the side. I don't need you to put me over your knee publicly and spank me. And that's what you did with her. And so I personally thought it was very whack.
Tori spanked me, though.
I got a rep for the LOs.
But didn't Tori spank me?
No, this was a different situation. So here's the thing. You lied, Bananas, and said that you didn't say what you said. That's why they pulled that audio without the video, because they had proof of you saying what you said you didn't say. You flat out said, I think he's using you for game. Please, let's not go into the details of it. Like, you said that.
I did.
They pulled the audio while the camera was pointing at the bus. Dude, they really dug for that shit because they knew you were mic'd up. So you said it. You, the next day, denied saying that statement at all.
I did not. I just said that's not the first thing that came out of my mouth. That was part of a long conversation we had, but that was not the entire conversation. The conversation was, I feel like, Michelle, I care about you as a friend. I don't want to see you hurt. And I don't think that his motives and his intentions are pure. I think he's using you for game.
But wait, so can you acknowledge that you just do not fuck with him and trust him at all? That maybe you were just so jaded by that you just assumed naturally he could not care about anything outside of himself?
He told me. He told me that was his plan. He told me he was going to come after me, so I just decided to strike first.
Wait.
All right, hold on. Let's move, because we were
let's move on. But that was the most ridiculous feud that did not have to happen, by the way, like between you and her, because of that whole thing with him. But like, okay,
ended up working out. The bar scene.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to get into this, hit this real quick. Obviously, the shit blew up between Olivia and myself. I decided to douse the entire bar in gasoline. When I basically blew Jordan's spot up, and when I called him out in front of everyone, and especially to you, I mean, I felt a genuine reaction in your face where you're like, oh my God, I think what you're saying is correct. Was that the first time that you really kind of put the pieces together and you're like, holy shit, maybe I'm not in the place with Jordan that I thought I was?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I was just talking to a couple of the homies about this before I came on the podcast. It was the funniest moment watching that scene because you cleared the whole room. And specifically, I wasn't even expecting to be a part of it. I was actually...
Nobody was.
I was trying to instigate the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, say that, Olivia. Fuck that motherfucker. Like,
you were.
I'm just thinking
you
in the
and
background,
Derek.
I'm just like part of the fucking, whatever. And when you turned and looked at me, and I was so gagged by that moment. And also, Jordan was too, because he's like...
He couldn't even open his mouth. He couldn't even say anything. He couldn't. Let me just play this audio clip for you real quick, because this is I again just want to get your reaction.
That was one of the best scenes of the season, dude. Like, you cleared the whole room. Like, that shit was hilarious.
All right. This is basically after that happens, we have our conversation where you're like, did he actually say that, where I stand on his list? And then this is your conversation with him. And I just want to once again get your take on it, because watching it back, I was like, this is such horse shit, and you called him out for it, but could not agree more. Here we go.
Was there any truth to what Bananas was saying about like me not even being like a fifth man on your roster? I know you and I haven't like talked game at all. I just kind of blindly trust and assume that like I'm included in your plans.
What makes this tough is who is in there. If it was you, Tori, and Laurel, I'm kind of...
Yeah, of course.
Like, I just pray I don't have to choose between you, Tori, Laurel. And you guys are down there.
Right. He's giving me this like politician bull answer, and it's hurtful because it's coming from a man that I love and respect. If I were to choose to still blindly trust him, it can be a detriment to my game, and I would just get blindsided later. And I don't deserve that. I'm thankful that I'm able to read between the lines. I'm gonna trust my gut on this one, and I have to just take Jordan's name off of my own roster. And when I come back tonight, as crazy as it sounds, like, he's gonna be a target.
Boom. Boom.
Yo, that would have been so dope if I fucking win the Olymp.
I know.
Say,
Dude.
Jordan, baby, take this.
I wanted that to happen so badly. I've never rooted, but in that moment, I mean, literally listening to him talk, I'm like, holy shit! If this is not a fucking word salad, I've never heard it before. Like, wait, as long as it doesn't come down to you, Laurel, and Tori, but that what? Then we're just leaving out the fact that he just made a promise to all of the angels that I'm working with. Like, so where the hell does that leave you?
I hated this so much because my thing is this. I wanted him to just tell me the truth. Because here's two things. Number one, Jordan didn't owe me shit since the game started. If we don't establish something, you can't assume, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. So if I really wanted something for him, I was just kind of lazy with my approach. I'm like leaning on how he and I were on All Stars. I'm like, and then also he and I just have this like trauma bond where I'm like, we're not going to go at each other the way we used to. So like, I knew also that this was now an individual game, and I knew where I ranked in terms of the power ranking of women. Dude, if you're paired with someone for a final over a big bag of money, you want the creme de la creme. Let's not play games and pretend like I was not at the bottom of that list at all times the whole season.
Okay, but I get it, but this is why I love Leroy, though. And this is why Leroy and I have always been so good. It's like, listen, is he going to win all these challenges and he going to protect me at every challenge? No, but he's the most loyal human being on earth, and I will take loyalty over anything in this game. And that's where I feel like Jordan doesn't care about that. You are his rider, dude. You're loyal. You would never do that to him.
And honestly, I want to see Nehemiah get the money before him. Jordan has won so many times that he doesn't need me as an ally. He doesn't need me as an asset. I'm probably a non-factor to his game anyway. So I felt like all you got to do is just say, sis, I have no room for you on my roster. Get in where you fit in. I'm already politicking like a motherfucker. Everybody in the house fucks with me. I can move around. Yeah. But like, don't have me playing myself. And you don't even need me though, as a number. And I wasn't even, if there were 7 girls, I was number 10, and there was probably a production was probably on the list before.
He's got the catering people in front of you.
That's what I mean, and I just didn't like that he couldn't just be a G about it and say, "Nope, sis, I don't have nothing for you this season." And like, but like to have me like think, I just didn't like that. I felt like I thought like our
bond was stronger
and love for each other was more sound to where he didn't need to do that. And, you know, again, I have evolved into where I'm in control of my emotions. So I wasn't like gonna have an explosive Hurricane Nia moment about it. But Bananas, I am very sensitive to my relationship with him because like we've come from hell.
Yeah.
And like arrived to such a beautiful place that what do you mean we can't just be honest with each other completely? I know where I was. I knew I was on borrowed time the minute TJ gave us the black shirts.
Well, I'm glad that I could do my best, my part to expose the truth. All right, that's all I want. All I want is the truth.
But I also love you for just being a gangster in that moment and realizing that this was an opportunity to just call people out on their shit. Because here's the thing, I do realize you have an unhealthy obsession with Olivia. What? It's kind of like a schoolyard crush.
Hell no. Olivia? No shot. No shot. I don't know where the hell that come from. No.
There's definitely something there for sure.
No. Definitely not. If that's some fucking propaganda she came up with, there's no way.
No, but okay, so do you not think she is an absolute smoke show?
I think she's great, but I don't have a crush on her.
Have you ever?
Not my type, dude. That ain't my type. You should know my type, man. That ain't it.
You're gonna do that right now?
Not my type.
You're such a bullshitter. She's not your type.
No. All right. I don't know how we got on her. All right. We gotta wrap this thing up because we got we got other people waiting to record. So all right. Before it was unfortunate watching you go down the way that you did. I can't say I would do any better because the math ain't my thing. But you know, you definitely made your impression. You made your mark this season. You broke some hearts. You didn't break any furniture, but there's always next season, right?
No hair dryers were harmed.
No hair dryers were harmed. No hands were broken. All right. Well, hope to see you again very soon. There's a possibility that could happen. Before we go, though, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you on social media, but also we know you love to travel. We know you love to eat. We know you love the fine dining experience. I hear you've got a project coming out. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I am the real Nia Moore on all platforms. That's NIA Moore. And I want you guys to follow me on Table for One. This is a show that I came up with, a concept that is celebrating solo travel, my love for food exploration, dating all over the world, just really getting after it and not relying on someone else to come along with me. So I'm just going to lead by example and showcase how much fun I'm already having as a private jet flight attendant, all those good things.
Dude.
So just find me on Instagram and we'll figure it out together.
Let me know if you ever need a co-host, because that sounds like an amazing time.
It's called Table for One Bananas, not Table for One plus a banana and a tailpipe.
Well, maybe it could be Table for One, and then I'll have a Table for One next to you, and we just push the tables together.
No, you definitely have to pull up on me on like one of these trips, or I'll pull up on you. So just drop the pen.
Done and done. All right. Well, listen, I wish we could have, had a little bit longer on here, but unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, but I always say this, time with me is always cut short,
There's a such thing called CP time. You know how that works too.
It's a finite thing. All right. Well, listen, love you so much. Can't wait to see you again on future season.
Love you too.
And with that being said, thank you for stopping by the Death, Taxes, and Bananas podcast, where the tea flows like wine and my guests instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm Oprah, and I love you.